So we continue with second topic, that is business ethics. Perhaps it's good here that I mentioned that all these topics are given by the management for of this course, and also the slides meant for all the topic for this course of UGE 2002 also been made by the management of this course of UGE 2002. So I have done some changes to the slides, but mostly are still the same. So for today, we look into business ethics, topic on business ethics. This is a shorter lecture compared to the previous one, and it is looking into ethics, understanding the basic concept of ethics in entrepreneurship. But most of the time, the understanding of ethics seems to be the understanding of overall of human ethics rather than dedicated to entrepreneurship. And then in the second part or the later part, we will look into practicing the concept of ethics in entrepreneurship. Is it important to be ethical, therefore to obtain business altogether? Here's the outline for this lecture, looking into building confidence. Is confidence has anything to do with being an entrepreneur and a successful entrepreneur? We'll answer that. And then, is there any culture relevant to entrepreneurship? And what are the values of entrepreneurship, the entrepreneurial ethics, and also in terms of being a successful entrepreneurship? Right. Let's start in terms of the lecture content itself. We'll begin in terms of understanding moral as well as business ethics itself. I think many of you, and including me, already attended moral studies. When I was in school, it was civics. So we have attended classes on moral year after year. So uh, not to go to waste, you still apply these moral studies even for business ethics. But moral seems to be in line, in parallel with ethics. And then the same ethics is useful for business and then entrepreneur itself. Okay. So here it's stated, business is ethics is a moral standard that is being practiced in doing business by individuals and entrepreneurs as well as business organization community. The right or wrong of business ethics is determined by community. Okay? Uh, what it means is the business ethics, or in general human ethics, is not determined by a single individual. If it's a single individual, then it's called dictatorship. So this, in this case, uh, where a consensus of community, in this case, community of business, uh, have agreed upon that this is the right way, or the moral way of doing business, then it is accepted as the business ethics as a whole. So this is an additional slide that I have included, not found in the, like I said earlier, the management has prepared slides for all of us lecturers. So this one I have prepared in addition to make you understand between the business ethics, the moral of business, how to go about doing business, and what is other things, that is the law. Okay, you also have the law and also guideline. Okay, so you have ethics, law, and guideline. So let's look at the differences between all three and then have an understanding. Okay, so ethics are, put together values, moral values, normally by a big number of individuals coming together as community, eh, and then they will be accepted values, eh, uh, for instance, for doing business. Then you have law, which is more structured. It needs to be written down and many times being edited to be seen practical, acceptable, and only go to the parliament if the country has a parliament, been again reviewed times of many times, and then finally come to a consensus to be enacted as a law. And then, of course, has to be agreed upon by the Royal Highness Agong itself to be a law. Okay, and then if anybody breaks that law, in the course of time it's been practiced, then police can take action and then can be brought to the court. Then it will be a criminal case altogether, or even for that matter, civil case, where finally, upon judgment, money needs to be paid as penalty. Okay? So that's a law, and then moral. Then you have also guideline, has been put there. Guideline is put together in a written manner, wrote by someone, agreed by the organization or association, either international or national level, and then followed upon. Okay, obviously some guidelines, like a standard operating procedure in how to handle laboratory equipment, is just a guideline. It's not going to be, there is no penalty until so severe that end up in jail if don't follow. It's just for the sake of safety, sake of you using the equipment same way as everyone else in the lab, for instance. Okay, so that's guideline. Okay? So you have guideline, you have law, then you will also have the ethics. In my personal way of explaining is simple. If you have moral ethics, you do wrong to that moral ethics, you will be penalized by the Almighty. The God will punish you, while law is punished by uh, the court of law and prison. Okay, but when you do ethically something wrong, God is watching, and when the time comes, you pay the penalty there. That's it. Okay, so that's the difference between law and ethics. Okay? I hope it is now clear. Uh, Next, we have this slide. Again, this has been prepared by the management of this course to be standardized all over everyone that is delivering this lecture to the whole university. And I was told even all universities. Okay, so looks like confidence has a lot to do with being an entrepreneur. Uh, I do agree. Looks like if you have precedence, someone else has become an entrepreneur in your family or in outside of your house, a close friend, it seems to be building confidence. So, based on what we have, this 446 years of colonialism, that means we've been colonized by other countries. This includes Portugal, English, and minor period of around 2 years by Japanese. So that's sort of like created, according to this slide, created a confidence issue to the majority race. So therefore, to balance off that effect, uh, this DEB, Dasar Ekonomi Baru, or I think National Economy Planning, NEP. Okay, so came about in this 1971. Uh, and national economic policy. Therefore, to bring about confidence to the majority race by having this policy. And I think it has done its job, uh, because we know now many of the businessmen are becoming coming from the majority race in this country. So, just to explain that colonization, according to this slide, has caused low self-esteem, and therefore to uh, recreate, high confidence. Therefore, this policy has come about. So a lot of aid assistance is also accompanied with this DEP or NEP, therefore allowing the majority race to come with business ownership. Okay, so I hope you understand the meaning of this slide altogether. So since confidence is very important, lies in parallel with success in being an entrepreneur, I have also retrieved a website where you can take a test to see how confident are you to be, in any endeavor or any challenges you are about to face. So also in terms of entrepreneurship. So do take this test using your handphone, smartphone. And then if we were in class, I would have asked what was your feedback. Okay. I have taken myself on this confidence test, and you can see my score there. Okay. It says I'm just doing fine. Some days I need to keep thinking about how much success I've had because of confidence, and there are a few. Okay, so I need to think about those, and then hopefully, no problem. I will be fine in terms of confidence. So this score is, average, no problem. Okay, maybe some of you will have, super confident, or if any of you been lowly ranked, having low confidence, low self-esteem, I would suggest to look into how to boost that confidence. Okay, uh, without the use of any substance, build it within inside of you. Okay, seek assistance by talking to someone on how to boost the confidence, and hopefully have so much confidence or sufficient confidence to actually venture into becoming entrepreneur. Right. Now we're going to look into the culture. Okay. Is there any business culture that is, acceptable for the community of business people? Looks like there is, and these are all the excellent business cultured people. Okay. Uh, there's 1 to 8 there, and the one that I've underlined seems to be very specific in nature to business. But if you look at it, 1 to 5 should be present in everybody concerned. If you are, classified as a human being, uh, as a human, you should be having all these other, culture from 1 to 5. It's just a matter of high or low or very low. Okay, if you what they have realized in the business culture, you need to have certain amount or certain degree of all these business culture uh, features here in order to do very well in business and to be specific to entrepreneur. Okay, so let's look at each one, see whether I can give some examples to make you understand where I'm coming from in order to boost your ability to venture into business. Okay, the first one is brave enough to try a new thing. Okay, uh, it appears the definition of entrepreneurship or technopreneurship is to be able to come up with newer or novel things to be put out to the market. So no choice, you must be taking the step or the steps in novelty rather than using something already existing and duplicating it. Okay. Later we will see how you need to go to newer areas in order to develop new market or steal the current market towards your market. Okay. And then setting goals. Okay. You tell me who is going about life without setting any goals. Okay, everybody sets goals, especially during the new year goals for that year. Uh, some goals that we set are so massive that at the end of that year, we look back at what goals we set, could not achieve it. Okay, but it's okay. It's to vision bigger than what it is, because then you will have achieved at least 75% of that goal. That's good enough. Or given 110%, it's very important to give your best, even though you don't achieve that goals. Okay? At least you have tried. And then self-confidence must be high to be in business, because confidence makes business. You have met people who are so highly self-confident about everything, but when you finally manage, like a brother of you, so confident, finally you break him and tell him he's just making a fool of himself, then you see, pity him. He will be broken down and then got no confidence at all. So better to be in the other side of highly confident, uh, than no confidence at all. So that's what I meant. Okay, because when you have low confidence, you wouldn't even try anything new. Uh, so better to go on thinking able to achieve everything rather than achieve nothing. Okay, that's what you mean by high self confidence. And then high self initiative. If you have high self confidence, saying that you can achieve everything, but if you don't have the initiative, so you need to have both in tandem, therefore you can achieve anything. Okay? The effort, the hard work, the commitment must also be there when you are in business. It doesn't stop at just starting the business, but must make it until sell the product and sustain the product and diversify, and for years to go on. That is the meaning of business culture. And then responsible in doing any task, not rely on people below you 100%. You must have the ability to actually complete and also be part of the system, not just on the top down. Okay, you must be able, in times you can even do the work at the low level to create a kind of doing it by example. Okay, so create uh, confidence even to your subordinates. Okay? And then this 678 is confined to business culture itself. So you, in order to create business culture, you need to have networking. Look like networking is very important, and later part you will see challenges and issues of business in that topic. networking has been identified to be very, very important in order to have successful business. Okay, and then get advice from expert. I personally realized that starting a business, I have started business myself. I think that's how I got into trouble in teaching this course of technopreneurship, because they thought lecturers who are part of business should be better off in teaching this course. I can tell you that setting up the company, making the product until selling it, there's many facets of learning, things which are not of your expertise. So you must get advice, and a lot of people have helped me in setting up the company until even product development until it's been sold. So I will share with you all that later. Okay, and then must have a proper system. No system, it's going to go haywire. Every day you will be having anxiety how to do things. Okay, must be systematic, that the next time around you are doing it again, you already know what to do. Okay, so that's business culture. We now move on to values that is to be found to be useful for any entrepreneur. And looks like here given a list of seven. Of course there could be more, but seven that has been identified here. And then I've underlined the three to be values that is specific to business, while the others are values that is found in anyone to actually do well in life. Okay. So you can see that efficient in financial management will be one of the core values of entrepreneurship. Uh, Not to know to the detail on how to keep accounts or how to do planning, financial planning, to very detailed manner, because we do have some topics relevant in financial management, financial planning that you will learn in other topics, but not very up to the level of after going through the topic you'll be able to do financial planning, or you'll be able to do day-to-day accounting. Okay, just to be introduced to it, and later when you finally face it, you will know what to do. One of the way is actually to hire an accounts clerk or an accountant, outside external accountant, to help on this financial management. Okay, so but it's also important you as a person who is embarking on entrepreneurship should be able to know about what is the component necessary for good financial management. Okay, if you can learn in detail, attend classes somewhere else, much better, but uh, to be exposed is sufficient. Okay, and then you have capable in marketing. Marketing also, they usually in any company will have a unit or department relevant in marketing. But if you are the chief executive officer or the general manager of that company, it's no harm in knowing every facets of marketing to help in discussion with the marketing unit head itself. Okay, but small companies, like what I have done in setting up a company in marketing two of the products, I had to learn many things by myself, like how to do the Facebook ad, Muda.my. They all have very complicated, procedures, but you just have to learn yourself. Okay, so you be ready to be versatile in learning new things without fearing it. Okay, I realize I also had challenges in learning a lot of things, but after a while, it became interesting also to learn with new challenges. Risk takers, you have to be taking a lot of risk, even moving away from having a salary kind of job to that of entrepreneurship or any business for that matter, where profit will determine whether you will get any salary or money of your own to sustain. Okay, so you take the risk and ensure that you be successful uh, in making profit. If there are instances where the business will go bankrupt, uh, Elon Musk once said that even if it goes bankrupt, there's always that confident that you can start another business and survive again. That ability need to have, or you know, uh, done with that business and go back to 9 to 5 job. Okay, so risk taking is part and parcel of entrepreneurship. Okay, and then networking. We have a specific topic on this later part. Networking is also important, where you need to network in terms of the suppliers to make the production of the product you're making, the source where the raw material is to be supplied, and then the customers also is considered networking, the traders in between. So there's many networking from the day you make the product until you sell it and sustain the sales. Okay. Good governance, also a lot of governance happen. The bigger the organization, if you're not going to be an entrepreneur, you going to finish your studies, get a degree, you will see you are part of any organization. There's a lot of governance. Every department, HR department, finance department, production, marketing. There's so many departments. Wherever you are, you should be able to understand how all this governance takes place in order to do your job in that particular department. So imagine if you are the entrepreneur, you need to know how to do this governance and need to do it in efficiently. Okay, competitive, you have to also realize that your product will be undergoing competition in the market. So must know how to be better in promotion to be attractive to the customer compared to the product, other products. Therefore, you can capture the sales better than the competitor. Okay. Durable is referring to once you already establish the business, can you sustain it by coming up with newer product, newer service, or being versatile in existing for many years to come, but rather than ending up with just a few years of good business surviving with one product alone. Okay, so that's durable. Okay, I hope these values are being understood clearly, and therefore you understand being an entrepreneur need these values to be understood, to be taken into yourself to achieve in being a successful entrepreneur. In this slide, we now look into what you should not do in order in terms of the ethics, all those ethics that is considered uh, don'ts for being a good entrepreneur. Okay, some values you may do it, but you may not be successful entrepreneur after that. Okay, you have things like breach of contract. So you will have a lot of contract being put together right from with the supplier, with the customer, and also not to mention with your workers itself, contract workers. So make sure you do not breach them. If you breach them, you will have people not only angry at you, but also could take things into the court. They could sue you. Okay, and also they can make police report and make things very difficult for you. So be careful about breach of contract. Breach of contract in terms of selling the product could be liable that you will lose sales. So also need to be careful. Then cheating or confusion in advertisement. We have another topic to cover this a bit more detail, but at this moment, even in all these online sales, you can see you be a customer, been a customer, purchasing. You see things are not as what you saw in the picture of the advertisement in the online or selling or e-marketing. You see, I personally buy something for my car. It says, the picture says, or given 2 units, and then I do the final purchase. It got delivered. I only got one. So when I see back at the advertisement, I realize in words it's written only 1 unit. So bit confusing. What you see and what you get may not be the same. So that's an example to give. Okay. And then weight scale inaccuracy. Recently, I read in northern part of Peninsular Malaysia, where rice paddy has been manufactured. So there is one big company. They have say 50 kg packaging. They have the management itself have minus of 5 kilos of in the end weighing of 50 kg packaging, and then they were found, they were exposed by maybe probably by the worker inside there itself, and then it became a big issue. So careful what you do, because once you've been caught or found out, like me, after seeing the 2 units get only 1 unit, of course I can review badly on that site for that person who's selling it. The next time people don't buy that. So you see, this kind of effect can make the outcome bad for the person who's selling this product. So be careful. Okay. There are many other things here which you should not be doing. I'm not going to go in detail the rest of it. I think you get the picture. Some people think that don't cheating is something that can considered to be good values of an entrepreneur, and then they do become rich. So I do not know how to say it. Okay. But maybe in Islamic teaching, as number 6 there, business involves usuri. I'm not sure what is the meaning of it. Maybe it instills good quality in religious ways. Okay. But you be the decider. If you think this should not be called not to do, but rather to do, be ready for the consequences of doing such an act. Okay. So that's my take on it. I think on the matter of this slide, I already just spoken in detail. Religiously, it is ibadah, good deed. So if it is a good deed, try to avoid things which are do not to be done. Okay, because at the end of the day, yeah, you want to be rich, you want to make money, you want to make profit, but also must look into the agenda of helping people in the process. So, even in religious teaching, it says that you must do good to others, and in the same time you gain profit for yourself. Okay. You want to do sales, entrepreneur, become an entrepreneur who is halal rather than haram. That's what I meant. Okay. I'm not knowing in detail about the uh, religious matters, so I'm going to give my take on this, because again, these slides are prepared by the management. I have kept them in continuation. Thank you. And here you have the characteristics, what makes a successful entrepreneur. Okay. We're not talking about just being an entrepreneur, but successful entrepreneur. We don't want you to be an entrepreneur and then quit or fail. So they have put together all the characteristics to be a successful kind of entrepreneur, and these are the ones. So you have to make sure that you have high commitment, never become less hardworking after some time or in the beginning, and after success comes, also become less hardworking. The commitment must be there throughout the journey, and seems to be that's the case with all these successful people. They are really hardworking. Okay. And then always sharpen your knowledge and sharpen the skills. Never stop doing that. That's what also makes a successful entrepreneur. Be thrifty and not wasteful. This is a bit tricky to answer, because if you become too thrifty and not being wasteful at all, pity the staff under you, then they feel they are not getting the most out of that company. Maybe the company is very successful because of their hard work, and if you are not giving them all the resources, including rewarding them with bonus and all, there will come a time people will start to leave. Okay. So, and then how do you make a new product, or first time the product, without spending money? I realize that's also about the number four there, avoid debt. For a long time, when I started the company, I thought should not look into getting loans and everything. But the practice of a good, successful entrepreneur is brave enough. It seems getting financial aid is how they roll into um, developing the company. Okay, so it seems they harbor such a behavior and know how to pay back also. Okay, not like take money and then be not responsible, take money from loan sharks, but more of creditable, organization, banks or credit companies to get, and then use the money and get a lot of profit and pay the interest, pay the debt back, and then roll like that. So that's important. Okay, go through the others on your own, but these are all the characteristics of a successful entrepreneur. Okay, if you have all these, then surely you will be successful. So here I give you a video on at least five entrepreneurs giving their mind off in terms of a lesson that is considered to be a successful entrepreneur. But I had a look at it also. Some of their advice could be their personal advice, not necessarily you must follow, but at least you have an understanding why they are uh, what they are at the moment. Okay, there are other videos, go and see them so you get more motivation. People who are successful entrepreneur also tend to read books on how to be successful, what is the correct way to behave, how to manage. They read a lot of material. Okay, or attend classes, attend training, attend seminars, many things they do to always keep themselves busy in learning skills. Okay, so this hopefully helps you to understand. Okay? I'm sure there is also local successful stories being told in videos, but I only got this. Okay, not to be saying there are no other videos. Right. We come to the end of this lecture, and to conclude, looks like to be successful, entrepreneurs should have a lot of these business cultures, which has been proven to be existing in successful entrepreneurs. And one of it is to avoid unethical conducts. But when it comes to the unethical conduct, I leave it up to you in terms of how you gauge it to be best practice for yourself. Okay. And of course, religious wise, any religion in terms of Islam, we already see that it practices good governance, ethical, or you can say halal way of practice in the governance to be successful as well in terms of entrepreneurship. So that's the end of this lecture.